Welcome to Outside the Fame. I'm Jamie Parker. We traveled over 1,300 miles to Alabama, home of former Red Sox righty Jake Peavy. The former two-time World Series champion and Cy Young winner owns this gorgeous 5,500-acre ranch called Southern Falls. It's a beautiful combination of his love of music and baseball. So come join us, y'all. Pitcher Jake Peavy was only with the Red Sox a short time, but it was a time he will never forget. In 2013, the Red Sox acquired him mid-season and then went on to win the World Series. It was a team that went from worst to first and one that united a city still reeling from the Boston Marathon bombings that April. After a stellar 15-year career, Jake retired in 2016 and moved back to Mobile, Alabama, where he grew up. There he is raising his 4 sons and has become a big part of the community. He also spends time at Southern Falls, his ranch a couple hours north of Mobile. We recently traveled there and caught up with Jake. I looked it up, Catherine, population 22. That's where we are. We're in Catherine, Alabama. So did you have this all built here for a reason?
Well, you know, we came up and started hunting here. This all kind of just happened. In Alabama, I grew up every weekend. In the fall and in spring, too, you go hunting with the men. And you have these hunting clubs, almost like golf clubs. And I've had small little pieces of property in this area along the way. And then I was able to buy one big piece of property here that touch the Alabama River. I wanted to bring my family and a lot of my family to be able to come and us have holidays and really just spend time with each other. Some of the best memories I had as a child were family reunions. That's a lost thing in today's world, but it was so much fun for me as a kid to get and travel to a town, be in a place, and this allows my kids to, and a lot of my family that I didn't get to see, to
Bring
come
them all
in.
together.
Right, we would spend the winter holidays here and everybody would get to come here and we'd have enough room for everybody. So it was just a glorified hunting camp that my parents ended up loving it and falling in love with it, wanting to be up here full time. And then me and my family ended up moving here and going to school with our kids in the community for a few years before we just moved to Mobile.
I mean, it is spectacular, and you got everything here. I mean, everything that you would need.
You know, as a baseball player, in those 8-9 months that you're in the season, you're in pretty high demand. And
all
that's
eyes
a
are on you
beautiful
all the time.
thing.
Yeah, I gotcha.
This was just a wonderful retreat to where if somebody was coming up that dirt road, I had invited them and gave them some directions, and even at that point in time, they were going to still have a hard time getting here. So just the privacy, the peace, and then getting a chance to a lot of different buddies and artists that are higher profile could always come here and it'd be a safe place, so to speak.
When we come back to Outside the Fame, we'll talk about Jake's passion for music and visit his studio back in Mobile. Outside the Fame is presented by Scholar Athletes, supporting academic achievement through athletics. Mobile, Alabama is on the Gulf Coast and is the 3rd largest city in the state. It has a rich baseball tradition and has produced 5 Hall of Famers. It also has an ever-growing music scene, one of the many reasons Jake Peavy has come home.
Well, I woke up this morning, it was drizzling rain. Around the corner come a passenger train.
Mobile is turning into a really cool place and something that's really representative of what's going on the Gulf Coast. It's something different than the rest of the part of the state. It's a lot alike in the culture and the history, but down on the coast of Alabama, it's a very brackish, progressive environment. We bought a piece of property that already had a makeshift studio in it, and it just made sense. If we were going to love and care about a music scene, for us to open a studio. So it's been wonderful just supporting the local scene and really making the business model work on your local talent, not having to go to Nashville to make industry standard records.
You have a favorite type of music to play?
I love it all. I grew up on country music, and I have a fourth. My fourth son's named Waylon, and I'm not ashamed to say that Waylon Jennings has had a huge role in my music, and I love to call him Waylon in regard to Waylon Jennings, and think about like my childhood and growing up with my father, grandfather, listening to all that stuff. Bruce Springsteen has been somebody that I look at and just revere in a way that I don't know if it gets any better, singer, songwriter, performer. I'm into a lot of that. I went out and left Boston, and I loved the Dead in my time in San Francisco, loved being a part of that community and family. That music really touches all genres of music if you listen to it. So like I get a chance to love it all.
Just like the place I came in.
Did you pick up a guitar? When did you start playing and singing and all that? When did you get involved in that?
You know, not until I got to the big leagues. I always loved
Really?
music. I snuck in these stairwells with Tim Flannery, our third base coach. He was from Kentucky, but raised in California, and just had a Graham Parsons love, a bluegrass love, stuff that I certainly knew. And he would put that guitar down, I would pick it up and go, teach me how to play just one of those. And wasn't long, he had a guitar before a road trip in my locker, and he said, if you learn how to tune this and understand how to tune it, I'll teach you how to play it.
We came in a little earlier when you were hanging around with your son playing. I mean, that's pretty special. Talk about one of those lifetime moments where you and your oldest son opened up for Willie Nelson.
We did, yeah. It was truly a moment that if you think back on how I started playing guitar, and I really just played throughout my career. It just became my best friend in my hotel room. As time went on, you include some other people and maybe have a sing along with some of your buddies. To pass that along to my children, my oldest jumped right along with the guitar and has come a long way in a short time.
Stay with us on Outside the Fame as we see what else Jake is doing for the city of Mobile. And we'll get talking baseball as well. Jake Peavy played for 4 major league teams over 15 seasons. 10 of those years were on the West Coast, but he never forgot where he came from. So now, in coming full circle, he's giving back to the young people of Alabama.
Anybody in here, raise your hand, can tell me what they think they might want to be when they grow up? Yes, ma'am.
I want to be an artist and a singer.
Oh, look at you go. You got it all covered. Yes, sir.
President.
A what?
President.
The President of the United States of America. Go on and dream big, buddy.
Just talk about the Jake Peavy Foundation, when it got started, created, and why.
Right. Well, we got started in 2012, and the reason why was, you know, I had a financial advisor who things fell south in a bad way. The best thing that he ever did for me was encourage me that we might want to start a foundation, that we were giving a lot of money away as we were playing. And he did say one day, Jake, you're going to want to do something that ensures your sustainability in this world of giving, and if this makes you happy, let's create an entity that will ensure that you and your kids and your family can continue to do this. So that's really how it was born.
We're all on one team here. We're on the home team.
Today, the boys and girls were painting ceiling tiles. Now, they could have painted anything they wanted to, but it didn't take long for us to notice a common theme.
Yeah, 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 girl, yeah, girl. You gotta be really brave to go to outer space. You know that? Simone, and I spell that how? S? I tell you what, you're about the fastest worker. You might be the president. Yes, that's super cool. She was not like the other girls.
We know we love and want to impact our children, and they are certainly our future and youth. There's nothing quite moves me like that. We're involved with veterans as well, but giving kids a better chance and teaching them some financial literacy, which I'm passionate about now after what I've been through. Giving them, you know, the gift of music and art, and then obviously sports. I grew up in a very rural, blue-collar town, and the gift of sports changed my life, my family's life.
Home on 3, 1, 2, 3.
If I can help that in any way happen for another kid, I'm all in.
Growing up in Mobile, Jake Peavy was drafted out of high school in 1999. Ironically, he played minor league ball for the Mobile Bay Bears before debuting for the Padres in 2002. After a career that featured a Cy Young Award and back-to-back World Series championships, the three-time All-Star looks back at his playing career fondly.
First, I want to ask you about the number 44. Why you chose that number? Because you being from Mobile, oddly enough, like McCovey's from here, Hank Aaron, 44,
Right.
44. So where'd you get that number from, and why'd you choose that?
Well, it's just a lot of my life has happened organically, and the older I get, the less I believe in coincidence. It's not a great story other than I don't believe it was coincidence now looking back. 22 is my father's number. Just saw that in pictures, I think, and started wearing it as a child. Wore it through high school and then my entire minor league career. The day I knew I was going to the big leagues, there was just a number in my locker that was number 44. At that point in time, I didn't really think too much of it because I was just happy to have a number. I thought it was cool that it was double my childhood number and almost like, okay, you're graduating into this. And then obviously I just smirked thinking about McCovey and thinking about Hank Aaron. And getting to wear that number as those guys did from my hometown put some serious perspective on the life I was getting to live and the life those two lived in the times they lived it. Man, I can't believe I'm getting emotional, but thinking about where I'm from, there's a lot of racism and it wasn't always a proud thing for me to say I was from Alabama, especially as I got moved on to the West Coast. People thought you were racist. People thought you lived in this trailer and you maybe dated your cousin. That's far from it. It's just stereotypical. So I just thought it was very ironic that I got to wear number 44. Then as I got to San Francisco,
Of course, you couldn't wear it there.
it's retired because of Willie McCovey.
Right.
And I now, in my career in number 22.
Yeah. Oh,
Will
that came like full circle.
It's like I said, the older you get, the less you believe in coincidence, and
Right.
it's amazing that number 44 was in my locker that day.
Right. So I'll try to lighten it up because now I'm getting a little emotional
Yeah,
too.
I'm sorry.
No, me too.
I'm a
But
baby.
I did hear a funny story about how you interacted.
Nobody's ever asked me that question.
Really?
Nobody's ever.
I always
No,
think about
that's
why
I
people
just
choose
wrote
their
down,
numbers and
because
how it
nobody-
happens. Yeah.
Like everybody, I just always
Yeah.
said it was in my locker. Like it just got given to me, and I know,
Oh, I'm happy to be the first.
Yeah. That's crazy.
I heard or read or heard something about the Roger Clemens interaction and how he gave you some advice
Right.
to stay, let's just say, get an edge or stay uncomfortable, which I
Right.
think is hilarious. I love that story.
Well, I think everybody's always looking for an edge. And
Yeah.
Growing up here, I idolized Roger Clemens and Greg Maddox. To get a chance to play with these guys, interact with them, call them friends was the most amazing thing that I could ever imagine. Now you got to think, me and Roger, the first time we got to spend time together was 2004. We were on this Japan tour, and it's not real motivating to play at this point in time. It's not like we really. It matters if you win or lose, and Roger at this point in time says, "I'll tell you what you can do. It will make you very uncomfortable and give you an edge over everybody. You take some of that icy hot and stick it down, in no man's land."
Right.
And you will not be comfortable, and that is a true story. Once you get comfortable and relaxed, there is a way that you will slip and you let your guard down. Roger was just trying to help me out, and look,
It works,
stuck
right?
around for a while.
Yeah, you kept that going for a little while,
huh?
Coming up, Jake and I look back at the 2013 World Series Championship in Boston. And of course, we made sure to find that duck boat. Scholar Athletes, founded by Suffolk Construction Chairman and CEO John Fish, partners with public high schools to help close the opportunity gap for thousands of students in grades 9 through 12 across the Commonwealth. Scholar Athlete programs support success in school, as well as success in life.
I'm here with the CEO and chairman of Suffolk, and also more importantly is the founder of Scholar Athletes, John Fish. Welcome, John.
Jamie, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much.
So first I want to start with your inspiration behind creating Scholar Athletes.
When I was younger, I was an athlete, and athletics played a very, very big role in my life. And unfortunately, I had a learning difference. I was a severe dyslexic back then, and athletics sort of provided me with that sense of confidence, that sense of security, that I wasn't dumb, that I could do something well, and athletics was basically my classroom.
And when you talk about the inspiration, is the motivation a little bit different, more personal, more?
You know, it is. I would say the idea of helping people has always been a very, very important thing to me, Jamie. And I often believe that nobody is successful on their own, and success is a relative thing. And to me, by working with people and helping them achieve their level of success or their definition of success makes all the difference in the world. And to me, it really makes you feel good as a human being, that you can provide that opportunity for somebody that otherwise maybe not had that opportunity.
This is, I think, is the greatest country western song of all time. It's Pancho and Lefty, a song by Townes Van Zandt. It's how I started playing guitar was learning this song with Tim Flannery. So.
Oh, that's cool.
2013 was certainly a memorable year in Boston. In April, the tragedy of the Boston Marathon bombings brought the city together in sorrow. A new slogan soon after helped to boost everyone's pride in an unlikely Red Sox run to the World Series, made it a redemption story for both the team and the city.
Living on the road, my friend.
If we can talk about that team, 2013, you know, the team chemistry, tell me what you took in from that season.
It's just hard to explain what that, a little bit over a year, they're meant to me and my family. I came in a very tough time when the city had faced utter devastation in the bombings, and then to watch the Bruins get to the Game 6 of Stanley Cup Finals and lose in the Garden to the Blackhawks. You know, it was almost like at that point in time, the energy, you could feel the city just going, you know, we're not going to be denied. And that Boston team seemed to have something special from the time I walked in the room.
But I feel like you fit right in. You really did. I mean, as much as your season was short in there, you fit right into the team chemistry.
I felt like I was home. The guys in that room, I could go on and on. Just the starting staff I got to become a part of with John Lester, John Lackey, Ryan Dempster, Clay Buchholz. We're so much alike as people. We were all a little bit older and experienced.
Right.
To watch David Ross come off almost a career-ending concussion to end up catching those World Series games, and Saltalamacchia having the year he had. And that's just the pitchers and the catchers. In 2013, I know Boston had some championships before, but I don't know if anybody saw that coming.
I'm going to move right on to the parade. What was that like?
I immediately ran into a problem of having too many family members that
no.
wasn't going to be able to make it on this duck
The duck
boat.
boat would have sank.
And you know, that's a very disappointing thing when you're just on life's biggest natural high.
How do you choose?
And then you only get so many. You know, a lot of people make a lot of conversation about us buying the duck boat. This was truly talked about in July, August with Johnny Gomes originating
Oh,
this.
Really?
Johnny Gomes, we had come here on an off day and spent some time here, and we had some different vehicles that we were getting around the property in. We're on the Alabama River, and Johnny goes, when we win this World Series, you should buy the duck boat that you and your family ride through the city in and take it back to Southern Falls. It would be a perfect way to get around the property. We were setting this up for tours and foundation with kids, and when that day came and I got to the field, I thought it was in my best interest to go ahead and try to make a deal for the duck boat. I then talked to my driver, and we talked to the owner of the company, and was able to have a checkbook there on hand in my locker at Fenway, and exchange a check for the title of that duck boat. And at that point in time, I felt like I had a little more leverage to get some more family members on. And the Boston Red Sox were so hospitable to all of us, and that day my entire family got to get on that boat.
And since we were at Jake's Ranch in Alabama, we just had to check out that duck boat.
So how did you come up with the design for this? The mural is gorgeous.
You know, I can't take any credit for this. My brother and best friend Chad Sprinkle took it down to Mobile, and I really didn't have anything to do with the design of it other than just they knew I wanted the year commemorated.
Right.
The Boston Strong logo will forever be entrenched in my heart.
So you don't take this out very much.
The only outings that it has had have been here on the property to
Right.
to give tours, but it's not going anywhere, and it'll be a piece of our family and a part of our family as long as these boys will have it around.
Kindness, I suppose.
I'll never forget stopping at the start-finish line there and in the city, just truly going, you know, where you always walk by and say, this is where those bombs went off. I also want you to understand us as a people and us as a city and community. This is where we overcame and did something very special later that year and showed the entire nation, the world, our togetherness. Look at you, girl.
From E to A. Thank you very much.
I tell you what, you can do a lot with E and A.
You can do a lot with E and A?
Of course. You're going to E,
Oh, you did.
You're going back to A, stay there. Fare thee well, fare thee well, fare thee well, not going to eat fairy fate. I'm going to Alabama, see some Susanna, holly wally doodle all day. Me and Waylon go a lot between two chords. And
also between two chords. I'm going to practice this like nobody's business. So
Look, I think next time you come back to ride in the duck boat on Mardi Gras parade,
I will play in the
you're
parade
going to play
with you.
on the duck boat with us and during the parade. How about that?
Fabulous. So I just want to say thank you for teaching me E and A, sort of. And thank you so much for the last 2 days. Some unbelievable Southern hospitality.
We appreciate it more than you know. You
Yeah.
guys coming down, getting to see where we're from and get a little bit of the culture. And
Yeah.
y'all come back now, you hear?
Yeah. You're doing some great work here. So how about a little Sweet Home Alabama? Is there any A or E chords in Sweet Home Alabama?
We should have taught you D, C, and G.
Oh, D, C, and
Oh my
G.
gosh. Sweet home Alabama. And some people say roll tide, roll, Jamie.
Oh, roll
The
tide.
skies are so blue. Sweet home Alabama. Lord, I'm coming home to you.
Here I come.